Eric, Andy, it's great to have you back with us. First of all, how much did you enjoy the Gillingham game?
We got the right results, so it was what I call a low-stress game. So, good game.
Yeah, it's terrific to be back. I mean, we really missed being here. It's peculiar to have spent 2 years away, but great to be back, and even better to have a terrific result in our first match back here. So,
And just to add on, I got to echo what Andy said, is that it was great to be back at Fratton Park. I mean, we've watched so many games on iFollow now. To be back after 2.5 years was really special.
You've been over since Thursday. What have you been up to so far?
We have been very busy, lots of recruitment planning for next year's team, lots of working with Andrew Cullen on operations, lots of going through the stadium developments, Steve Cripps looking at ROCO, doing a lot of strategy sessions, down to meeting the employees. You can add in.
yeah, no. So I mean, we also had an H&A board meeting, which I know people here are aware of. That we have a group from the PST and the president's previous owners who are involved with us and help us review a whole set of kind of what's going on here at the club and at Fratton Park. That was good. We also had a regular board meeting, but yeah, we spent a lot of time with mainly with the staff and particularly around player recruitment.
You touched on it slightly there. It's the first time you've been over since the Fratton Park redevelopment started. How good is it to see them in person rather than on video?
Well, it's amazing to actually see something that you've been planning for a while, and I think it's the speed with which it's going to pick up. I think it's going to be great for even the Portsmouth locals, because it's going to move quickly, and it's going to snake through the north into the south and then eventually into the Milton end. And so to see the actual results of what you've been planning for a long time are fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also maybe because we've been working on it 5 years, finally seeing it to come to fruition. I think it's probably the best evidence of how we think about long-term planning, because so much went into the thought process, but you can really see it from not just an improved seat in the north stand, not just an improved kiosk delivering the food or a concession stand or whatever, but also the food from Piglet's Pantry. So I think frankly for us it's sort of so much has changed, and really holistic change, that if anything it's a little surprising how much has changed. But it's terrific, and can't wait to be back here next season, because there's going to be a lot more happening in the coming months.
And then to add on to that, it was such a study. When you had Fratton Park, everybody talked about it being an old and kind of falling down, but then we had to go back and through and study everything, and that took us a long time. So that was really one thing, and then there was the capacity issues, but there was also the improvement of the experience for the supporter. So there's kind of two facets we looked at, and I think we're solving both at one time. So
You've visited the training ground as well. How pleased are you with the progress down there and at ROCO as well?
I mean, to me, I feel like that's an obvious one as far as the most global thing, in that we've never had our own training ground. It's been bought all with no debt. It's a part of the club. It just adds a massive piece to the puzzle to the club. And I'll let Andy go in the direct development within ROCO, but it's now ours to solve and to make a great first team and other player academy, etc., training ground where you have a first-rate facility. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's probably a hard time to make the decision with the pandemic going on to invest that much more. By the same token, it's a unique opportunity. As Eric said, because the club has never owned its training ground, we really felt it was, as you want the club to progress, it's sort of an essential element to achieving the sort of highest levels. Look, I mean, it's not at the stage that Fratton Park is, but if anyone has a friend who's a member of the ROCO or whatever, those people can report back to you that there's also substantial development going on inside, and that should improve, obviously importantly, the first team experience and the academy experience, but it also should improve the members' experience there. And again, we're trying to find ways to generate revenue streams and stuff that can impact the club on a very long-term basis. So we're excited about what's going on there. And to be honest, I'm excited about right where we're sat here, where it's hard for me to even keep my eyes open because the concrete is reflecting. But we're actually sat in the wheelchair area in the front of the north stand, which again, sort of similarly when you look at the club as we arrived, there was only the area in front of the Fratton end, which, as fine as that was, there's vastly more wheelchair accessible seats here, and there will be in the sort of middle of the north stand and in the Milton stand. So there's really a lot
symbolic that we're sitting here, and it's kind of one of the things that we promised to follow through on. So glad to do that.
We're sat here on Sunday. What else do you have planned for your visit?
Oh my God. We have full days planned. What do we have exactly?
So,
press is today. I'll go into some. You can go into some. Press today. We're going to have dinner with Danny and Nikki and their wives just to get to know them better, and very informal there. Tomorrow we go into finance. We go into a recruitment meeting as well. Andrew Cullen is with us the whole time. What else do we have? I mean, we have
so we
back
also
to back till we leave.
We're
Game
also
Tuesday.
And we're also working on either sporting director or director of football. We don't actually have a specific title that we know for sure we're going to use, but we're doing interviews related to that.
Yeah.
But I would say every element of the club over the course of the 6 days here, we're doing everything you could possibly cover, and then luckily 2 home matches, and so that's the fun part.
To add the sporting director, I think that's an important one, because that will be something that will work with Danny to alleviate the kind of short-term, long-term needs, give him the players that he needs, that he wants, run through the CEO, through Danny, that will then kind of support the football staff. And it's just really building out your internal football recruitment team, and again, getting, important to all of us, and getting the promotion, and then when you get up, not succeeding relegation, having a team that's style is fit for the next league up, and then the players that can fit that style as well.
Yeah, so the one other thing, just so I mention it, because Eric touched on it, but so a lot of Monday we are spending with all the different departments inside the club. This is probably less interesting to the fan, but fundamentally, as we're improving the club, to us it is just as important, this inner review with you, or working with Marie Stedman on safety and security, and the other areas of the club that don't really get publicly seen in as many ways, but as you progress as a club, it is about each of the departments improving, each of the departments pushing a bit further than they had before. So, we spend a lot of time in the other areas as well.
The John Jenkins Stadium will be completed in October, a project that the Eisner Foundation made a significant donation towards. So how good will it be to see the developments there?
Well, I mean, I think that's a bigger. So there's again, short-term, long-term. The short-term, it's amazing that we could help out Claire with her project, and to see it come to fruition is amazing. But again, it's the idea of that we're going to get involved in Portsmouth long-term and help the city. So I think it's a great first step in that, and that you'll see tangible evidence. We were very happy to support Fratton Family Foundation, absolutely. I mean, it went to a great cause. It's something that we're close to, and also in a city where we have business. So. I mean, that's another huge step, so.
The season is just about coming to a close. How have you viewed the past campaign, both on and off the pitch?
You can start.
So look, that's the one area where it's pretty easy to say, look, we're disappointed not to achieve automatic promotion. We're disappointed not to be in the playoffs. We expect to be a competitive squad every single season, and so there's no way to answer that question without saying there is disappointment. And there's also an acknowledgement of, we made a decision at some point with a strong hope to get promoted under Kenny Jackett. At some point, we felt like it was right to make a change. That change came with a number of changes in the style of play. And it meant that, this season might be harder because there'd be a larger number of changes from a prior squad. It is not our desire to make frequent changes in managers. In fact, we kind of stated publicly, we hope to be on the very extreme other side of the spectrum, really working with our managers long term. But therefore, when you make a change, there's a short-term negative impact to getting the right players and the right philosophy, and them learning our style as well. So, disappointed in the actual performance, and also, excited about where we're headed. But
I'm going to take the excited where we're headed in that. So we keep going back to the under Kenny, that we played a different type of style. Would have almost got us up in League One. If you talk about an offsides here with Brad Pittman and Viv Solomon, you're there. potentially. Shortened season where then points per game became it's in the playoffs, and we go to Oxford and it's 1-0 each game, and then they come back and they go to shootout. So a penalty one way there goes right in the championship. That said, I don't think, personally, I think we might not have been ready at that point. The team was built for League One play, and there might have been a lot of losing in the championship, where I think with our new style of play and our new everything and building out the department, we'll have a team that's can go up and then stay up. So what I've been saying to everybody is hopefully the goal is no relegation. And you go up, you stay up, and then you move within and move up within that, whether it's style of play, players, and all that, so you're ready for the next level. And I know that gets met with some resistance, but I do believe if we go up and we weren't ready to go up, to lose a lot in the championship is not fun either. So I think we're creating the right way to think about consistent progress.
Moving on to the 2022-23 campaign, what's next for Portsmouth Football Club?
Wow. I mean, that's a big question.
Yeah, so I mean, so what will happen over the summer, so basically while very few fans are here, is, completion of a lot of the stadium projects. So people will come back and see effectively a completed north stand, a very close to completed south stand. There's not everything necessarily in the concourses and so forth. And later in that season, we'll begin the work on the Milton end, which has all kinds of implications. Even though it is the Milton end, it does have implications for connections to the north stand and the south stand and so forth as well. But look, I mean, I think we're going to spend a lot of the summer, frankly, focused on the playing squad. So this is where, as much as possible, we're going to bring in a really competitive group and start the season with the ultimate aim of winning League One, and hopefully that's where we head.
And I feel like last season was a lot of transition, whether it was Andrew Cullen coming on board or Danny Nicky coming on board. This is now we're getting our foundation, our legs under us, so it'll be much more of a season of progressing with the team we currently have, from management to on the pitch.